Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees for our weekly Srimad Bhagavatam Bhakti Vaibhav class, Canto 3. And we just started chapter 5, wherein being requested by Vidura, Maitreya is describing the process of creation. Wherein in the last week we discussed that the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, expanding himself as Mahanarayana, who further expands as Mahavishnu at the beginning of the creation, was sleeping alone when there was no desire to create. So, in the time of the previous annihilation, keeping all the living entities and all the elements with Prakriti and Kala within his own form, he was sleeping calmly. Now, when the desire to manifest into many universes, manifest many living entities, then suddenly he opens his eyes. Then there was no Maya to glance upon in front of his eyes. Then, in order to fulfill his desire, the Maya appears from his skin pores in the form of Pradhan or Dravya, stands in front of him. Then Mahavishnu, by glancing upon her, impregnates her with Kala Shakti and Jiva Shakti. So, since Maya is Dravya or Prakriti or Mahakali or Shakti Tattva, and the Kala Shakti on the way transforms himself into such Sadashiva or Mahakala Purusha or Shambhu Tattva. So, the interaction of Sadashiva and Mahakali, Mahakala Purusha and Mahakali, there is the creation. And Jiva enters into her along with its karma and Swabhava. So that we discussed the reference from Brahma Samhita and also with reference from Bhagavad Gita. Mayonir Mahatma Tasmin Garbham Dadameham Sambhava Sarva Bhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharata. So then, as a result of interaction with Kala, Karma, Swabhava, interaction of Kala, Karma, Swabhava with Pradhana, consisting of three modes of material nature, first the mode of goodness becomes activated. As a result of that, there appears Mahatattva, consisting of Jnana Shakti. And then, eventually, by further interaction of the three modes of material nature with Kala, Karma, Swabhava, the mode of passion becomes activated. As a result of that, there appears Sutra Tattva or Mukhya Prana. So, along with Mahatattva, it's the presiding deity. Lord Brahma at the Gunavatara appears. Along with Sutra Tattva, its presiding deity, Vayu, appears. And then, in due course of time, by the interaction of Kala, Karma, Swabhava with the three modes of material nature, the mode of ignorance becomes activated. As a result of that, there appears Ahankara. And by now, all the three modes are activated. So, along with Ahankara, its presiding deity, Rudra, also appears. Along with Mahatattva, the Gunavatara Brahma, along with when the mode of goodness activated, there appears Mahatattva. Along with that, the presiding deity of that, the Gunavatara Lord Brahma or Lord Vishnu appears. And when mode of passion becomes activated, there appears Tattva along with the deity Vayu. When the mode of ignorance becomes activated, there appears Ahankara along with its deity Rudra. It is Lord Shiva. And then this Ahankara will consist of three energies. So from the transformation of Mahatattva arose Ahankara, which is the shelter of Adibhuta, Adhyatma, and Adidaiva, which transforms into gross elements. From Adibhuta comes five gross elements. From Adhyatma comes the 10 senses. From Adidaiva comes the mind and its a deity known as Chandra, as well as the deities for the 10 senses. They all appear from Adidaiva. Thus, the Ahankara is divided into Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Three divisions, predominated by Sattva and Rajas and Tamas. So, till here, we discussed in the last class, and that is where we start. And from here, we'll continue. So, by the transformation of Mahatattva, Ahankara arose. Its qualities are the effect, Adibhuta is the effect, Adhyatma is the cause, Adidaiva is the doer. Since the Ahankara transforms into gross elements. So the effect of Adibhuta are the five gross elements along with their five properties. Earth, water, fire, air, and their five properties. Earth has fragrance, water has taste, fire has form, air has touch, and ether has sound. And then from Adhyatma there comes five Jnanendriyas and five Karmendriyas, intelligence and prana. From Adidaiva there comes mind and the deity of mind and the deities of the 10 senses. So all these are manifested from Ahankara. So that is where we stopped in the last class, and today we'll continue from the next verse onwards. Okay. So one of you can unmute and repeat after me. Text number 30. Aham tattvaadi kurvanam
Aham tattvaadi purvana
mano vaikarikadabhut
mano vikarika abhut
vaikarikascha deva
vaikarya deveva
arthabhivyanjanam yata
artha vyanjanam yatha. Please, Krishna.
Yeah. Read the translation.
Yeah, Prabhupada. The false ego is transformed into mind by interaction with the mode of goodness. All the demigods who control the phenomenal world are also produced of the same principle, namely the interaction of fall ego and the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna.
Correction. So from the transformation of Ahankara in Sattva-guna, there comes the mind along with the deity of the mind. The deity of the mind is Chandra or Soma, moon god. Moon god also appears along with the mind. And also the sense devatas also arose from Ahankara in Sattva-guna. And from the devatas of the senses, the sense objects becomes revealed. Those who are the devatas such as Dig devatas arose from the Ahankara in Sattva, and from those devatas, the sense objects such as sound are revealed. These devatas are the Adidaiva or Kartar mentioned in text number 29. So basically, we have 10 senses, 5 Jnanendriyas and 5 Karmendriyas, and the activities of every sense are under the supervision of one particular devata. So we have 5 Jnanendriyas, like ears. The devatas for the function of ears is Dig devatas. Then the skin, the deity is Vayu. Then there are eyes, the deity is Surya. Then there is tongue, the deity is Varuna. Then there are nostril. The deities are Ashwini Devatas. So like we have 5 Jnanendriyas. Their respective activities are supervised by 5 Devatas. So Vayu, not Vayu. The first one is Big Devatas for the sound, Vayu for the skin, for the touch, and uh, Sun for the eyes, and then Varuna for the tongue, Ashwini Devatas for the nostril. So with the help of these Devatas, we are able to experience the 5 sense objects. And similarly, there are 5 Karmendriyas, such as mouth, Agni the Devata for mouth, by which we are able to speak. And hands, the Devata is Indra, by which we are able to perform activities, accept and give. And legs, the Devata is Vishnu. This Vishnu is Devata only, not the Supreme Lord Vishnu. That's what Jiva Goswami says. And by which we will be able to walk from one place to other place. And there are anus, the Devata is Mitra or Yama, by which we expel the waste product. And genital, Prajapati Daksha, by which we beget children, procreate children, etc. So like that, the 10 senses have 10 respective devatas. They are all produced from the ahankara in the mode of goodness. Then, what is produced from ahankara in the mode of passion and ignorance will be indicated in the next verse. Taijasanindriyanyeva
तैजसान्निन्द्रियाण्यैव
jnanakarmamayaani cha
ज्ञानकर्मामयानि च
tamaso bhuta sukshmadir
तामसो भूतसूक्ष्मादिर्यथा
yatakam lingamatmana.
कं लिङ्गमात्मना. The senses are certainly products of the mode of passion in false ego, and therefore philosophical speculative knowledge and fruitive activities are predominantly products of the mode of passion.
From the ahankara in the mode of passion, there comes knowledge and action senses, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. And there are one more point also which is not mentioned here directly, but which will come in the next chapter and which is also mentioned in the second canto. So along with the jnanendriyas, okay, their immediate the integrator of the information collected by the jnanendriyas, there comes buddhi, intelligence. The intelligence has its representative Lord Brahma as Jiva Tattva. So intelligence appears along with the 5 jnanendriyas, and also the intelligence as a deity, Brahma appears. And 5 karmendriyas appear along with their instigator, the 10 pranas. There are 10 pranas which act as the instigator for performing various activities within the body. They also appear along with the 5 karmendriyas. So all these things, intelligence, that 10 pranas, 5 jnanendriyas and 5 karmendriyas, they all appear from the ahankara in the mode of passion. And then ahankara in the mode of ignorance, from ahankara in tamas, there appears the sense objects, starting with sound. So among all the 5 sense objects, first appears the sound, which is provided by the Lord, from which ether arose. So from the ahankara in ignorance, first comes sound. For the sound to transmit from one place to other place, we need a pathway. That pathway is ether. Sound travels through ether. So then ether appears. So like that, one after the other, they appear. The senses are Taijasa. They arise from Ahankara in Rajas. Taijasa means mode of passion, because they appear from the mode of passion. Someone may object that the knowledge senses give knowledge. So They are in sattva, not in rajoguna. But to counter this, the word eva is used. Taijasa nindriya neva. The senses actually appear from mode of passion only, not from, even though they are giving knowledge, but their activities in the category of passionate nature, they all appear from the mode of passion only. That's why the word eva is used. So jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, all the senses appear from the mode of passion only, meaning that all the senses appear from the hankara in rajoguna. The senses are the adhyatma aspect or karana, the causes. They are the cause of the activity. Ahankara in tamoguna is the cause of the sense objects such as sound, from which arose its pathway, the ether. First, from ahankara in tamoguna appears sound, and then for the sound to move from one place to other place, the ether come appears, which is a form of the Supreme Lord, since it reveals the Lord through sound, describing his qualities. It is through sound only we understand about the nature, attributes, form, activities, and name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila, everything is understood by us only through the help of the sound. Or from sound, which is a form of the Lord, arose the form of the ether. It is from sound, which is a sound is considered to be Lingam Atmanaha, a form of the Lord. From that appears ether. Being an effect of the Lord, sound is called Atma. Shruti says, Tasmat va etasmad Atmana Akasha Sambhutaha. The ether arose from the Lord who pervades the sound. Taittiriya Upanishad said that the ether actually appears from the Lord who is pervaded the Tanmatra sound. So in one sense, the sound is considered to be non-different from the Supreme Lord. That's why it is called Lingam Atmanaha. It is another form of the Supreme Lord because Lord is pervaded. Sound is pervaded by the Lord. So in that way. The gross elements are Adibhuta aspect are Karya. Karya Karana Kartrutva. Adibhuta, Adhyatma and Adideva. The sense devatas are an aspect of Adideva. The senses are an aspect of Adi Atma. The gross elements along with their tanmatras, the properties, are an aspect of Adibhuta. So like that, the different categories of Ahankara will transform into different elements. So all of you are able to follow how
Yes.
how by glancing upon Pradhana, Mahavishnu impregnates Pradhana with Kala, Karma, Svabhava and Jiva. So by the interaction of the three modes of Pradhana with Kala, Karma, Svabhava, there appears Mahatattva, predominant mode of goodness, along with its deity, either Lord Vishnu or Lord Brahma as Gunavatara. Then, by further interaction of three modes with Kala, Karma, Svabhava, the mode of passion becomes activated. There appears Tattva, along with its deity Vayu. Then, by further interaction, there appears Ahankara, along with its deity Rudra. And from Ahankara, there appear three divisions, Adhyatma, Adibhuta, and Adidaiva. From Adidaiva aspect of Ahankara, there appears mind, along with its deity Chandra, and also the 10 devatas of the 10 senses. From Adhyatma aspect of Ahankara, that is Ahankara in the mode of passion, there comes the 5 Jnanendriyas, along with their supervisor, that is intelligence, along with its deity Lord Brahma Jivatattva, and 5 Karmandriyas, along with their activator, the 10 pranas. And from Ahankara in the mode of ignorance, that is Adibhuta aspect, first there appears sound, which is non-different from the Lord, which is pervaded by the Lord. And as a pathway for the sound, there appears ether. And now, by further interaction of ether with Kala Karma Svabhava and the Lord, there appears touch. And for the touch to go from one place to other place, the pathway, air also appears. So like that, one after the other, First, the tanmatra appears, the sense object appears first, and then the element which carry the sense object from one place to other place appears from that tanmatra. Please repeat after me. Kalamayamsha yogena
कालमायांश योगेन
bhagavad vikshitam navaha
भगवद्वीक्षितं नभः
nabato anushrutam sparsham
नभसो अनुश्रुतं स्पर्शं
vikurvan nirmame nilam.
विकुर्वन् निरुपमे नीलाम्. Thereafter, the personality of Godhead glanced over the sky, partly mixed with eternal time and eternal time and external energy, and thus developed the touch sensation from which the air in the sky was produced.
Yeah. So like that, how all the other elements are produced will be described. The Lord glanced upon ether with a mixture of kala, and karma swabhava. Then from ether there comes touch, which transforming further itself produces air. So from ether comes touch, and from touch comes air, which acts at the transportation via medium for the touch to go from one place to that place. Navasa is the subject. From ether arose touch, and transforming itself produced air, its pathway. In all these cases, the tanmatra gives rise to the grass element. So first comes the tanmatra or the object, then the grass element will produce, which is acting as the pathway for the tanmatra to go from one place to other place. This is how one after the other, all the 5 tanmatras along with their 5 grass elements appear. First sound came, then for the sound to transport from one place to other place, ether came. From ether then comes touch. For the touch to go from one place to other place, there comes air. So now from air there comes form. For the form to go from one place to other place, there comes fire. So it's like currently now summer is going on. Outside the atmosphere is very hot. When we open the door, a gush of wind comes inside. When the wind hits us, we experience the heat wave kind of thing. Similarly, in the winter also, when we early morning when we open the door, the cool breeze, the cool wind touches our skin, and we experience that coolness. So the wind actually carries the sensation from one place to other place, like that. Please repeat.
Hare Krishna Babu.
Yes.
Prabhuji, did we discuss the verse number 32? Like, I think we.
31, 32, both are together. It is only one line verse. I combined both.
So here it is said that sky is a product of egoistic ignorance, and it's also the same time the symbolic representation of Supreme Soul.
That's
So
what, no? It is represented by the Supreme Lord. The sound is provided by the Lord, because it is by sound we understand about Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Supreme Lord. It is only by hearing we understand about the Lord, not other way. So in one sense, the sound is expansion of the Supreme Lord.
But it why means it's also, but it said that it's a transformation of ignorance.
Yeah, that's what, na? From Ahankara in Tamaguna. Tamaguna means ignorance. There comes sound. Ahankara had 3 divisions. Last week we discussed that the 3 divisions were Adhyatma, Adibhuta, and Adidaiva. So each division is produced from 3 gunas.
Isn't it that the tamas covers everything, like, and it puts you into the darkness, or that the tamas is also other functions, like where it can help us to realize the Supreme Lord in the form of
No.
sound?
how can tamas will help you to realize the Supreme Lord? Tamas will actually cover your knowledge. It will not help you realize the Supreme Lord.
But the transformation of tamas, which is sound, can help us to realize the Supreme Lord.
See, it is not the transformation of tamas. It is ahankara in tamoguna. See, last time I showed, maybe a couple of slides later I'll show that that trunk of the tree is like the ahankara, from which come the three branches. So one branch is Sattva branch, one branch is Rajoguna branch, another branch is Tamoguna branch. The reason is, since the elements are dull, so they said that they are appearing from ahankara in the mode of ignorance. But the elements have special properties. They reveal as they possess these tanmatras, which are obtained by the jnanendriyas. It is the jnanendriyas which experience the tanmatras, which are the properties of the five gross elements. So it is like that.
Okay, and
It is an integrated function. It is not an individual function. There is a devata, there is a sense, there is an element with a particular property. All three come together when we experience the knowledge by hearing.
so the role of the sense devata
Is to facilitate the activity to accomplish.
facilitate to
Facilitate for the accomplishment of that activity.
accomplishment of the activity.
For example, we'll discuss now next verse. The sun is the deity of the eyes. First there comes form, and then from form there comes the fire or Agni, or, and the deity is Surya. Simple. When there is sunlight all around us, we'll be able to see each other, and we'll be able to see all the different objects that are in front of us. In the dead of night, even though objects may be in front of us, but if there is no any form of light, for example sunlight or moonlight or light from the lamp or electricity bulb, can we able to see the form of the object or form of the person?
No.
So it is the light which is the manifestation of the sun god, is only helping us to perform this activity of seeing something. So it is like that.
But
It is a combined activity.
eyes has the ability to see, right?
But eyes alone can't see if there is no light. Without the light, you can't see anything. You may be having good eyes with 12 by 12 vision. In the darkness, you can't see. Are you getting?
Yes, yes.
It's like that.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Ah.
Prabhuji, is it okay to understand that one by one everything was created from subtle to gross? It is not one. So every time the Lord is glancing. It's like that?
No.
At each
It is
stage,
like
his glance is happening.
no. The one glance only continuing. It's like it is not that okay, glance now, he took rest, again glancing, again took rest. Not like that. He's glancing. In due course of time, one after the other, things are manifesting. This you will understand when I show you that image. Maybe just 2 slides later, I'll show you image. So then everything becomes clear.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we'll go ahead with the next verse. Anilopi vikurvano.
Anilopi.
Vikurvano.
Anilopio vikurvano.
Navasoru balanvitaha.
Vosuru balamita.
Sasarja rupatanmatram.
Samjaro padam matram.
Jyotirlokasya lochanam.
Jyotirlokasya lochanam.
Thereafter, the extremely powerful air interacting with the sky, generating the form of sense perception, and the perception of form transformed into electricity, the light to see the world. Hare Krishna.
Air, getting great strength from ether, transformed itself and became the Tanmatra of form. It became the Tanmatra of form. From form arose light, which illuminated the eyes of the people. So, with the interaction of Kala Karmasvabha by the glance of the Lord, Kala Karmasvabha is in the glance of the Lord. That means, with the interaction of the three gunas with Kala Karmasvabha, the air produces form, which is a Tanmatra. And for the form to go from one place to other place, we need light. The light is produced. Next. Earth, water, fire, we say, na? So here either we can say fire or light, whichever. The fire is produced. It is only in the presence of some light source we'll be able to see. Or otherwise we can say that it is only through the via medium of some light source the form will go from one place to other place. So, for example, all of us are sitting in the temple hall. The speaker is speaking from the Vyasasana. The form of the speaker will come all the way up to the retina of our eyes only in the presence of a light source. If the temple hall is brightened by so many lights, then only the form of the speaker will come to our eyes. When the lights are switched off, the speaker may be there on the Vyasasana, you may be sitting next to Srila Prabhupada, but will not be able to see the speaker. So it is like that. The light acts as the via medium, the transportation medium for the form to go from one place to other place. The form of the speaker from him comes to our retina only in the presence of some light, because the light is the transportation via medium. That is the pathway for the form. Air getting great strength with ether became form. From form, light, the pathway of the form, arose, which reveals various forms to the eyes of the people. So it is the light which reveals us various forms. As soon as the sun rises in the morning, we get to see the entire world around us. In the dead of the night, we can't see anything around us, even though everything is there, but we can't see. Like that. The next, from fire, from the light, there comes taste. That is explained in the next verse. Anilena vrutam jyotir
अनिलेनावितं ज्योतिर्
vikurvat parivikshitam
विकुर्वत् परवीक्षितम्
adattamborasamayam
आधाताम्भोरसमयम्
कालमायांशयोगतः.
कालामायांशयोगता. When electricity was surcharged in the air and was glanced over by the Supreme, at that time, by a mixture of eternal time and external energy, there occurred the creation of water and taste.
By further interaction of Kala Karmasvabha with the three modes, that means now the air, which is the recent creation, with the light, with the Jyoti, along with the air and the previous element ether, under the glance of the Lord, from a mixture of time and a portion of Maya, transformed and produced taste, and from taste there comes water. So basically, by the interaction of Kala Karma Subhava with the previous three elements, which were produced as ether, air, and fire, there comes taste. And for the taste to go from one place to other place, there comes the pathway, that is water. So light produced water, the pathway with the quality of taste. Basically, light produces taste, and its pathway, the water. So like that, this is manifested. So, for example, the basmati rice has a beautiful taste. But for us to experience the basmati rice, we need to cook the basmati rice. When we cook basmati rice with water, we experience the taste. So everything that we prepare in our kitchen, it is all prepared with the help of water. It is the water which carry the taste of the food grains all the way up to our tongue, so that we'll be able to experience the taste very nicely. So in that way, Rasoham Apsu Kaunteya. It is the water element which carry the taste. The taste is the vibhuti of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, the water acts as the pathway for the taste to go from one place to other place. The next.
Hare Krishna.
Wait. Can you wait? The next slide we have a image. I'll show that image. Then we'll take questions. So
Okay.
then you have a complete picture. Then we can discuss.
Sure, bro.
So next, from water, by the interaction of Kala Karma Svava, there appears fragrance. For the fragrance to go from one place to other place, the pathway, earth, the earth element appears. Jyotishambo anusamsrishtam.
ज्योतिषाम्बो
Jyotishambo
अनुसक्तुम्
Vikurva Brahma Vikshitam
विकुर्वद्ब्रह्मवीक्षितम्
Mahim Gandagunam Adat
महीं गन्धगुणमादात्
Kalamayamsha Yogataha.
कालमायांश योगतः. Hare Krishna. Thereafter, the water produced from electricity was glanced over by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and mixed with eternal time and external energy. Thus, it was transformed into the earth, which is qualified primarily by smell. Hare Krishna.
Water mixing with fire under the glance of the Lord and by the influence of time and a portion of Maya, transformed and produced fragrance. And then for the fragrance to move from one place to other place, there appears earth. Water combined with light produced fragrance and eventually its pathway, the earth. So like that, all the elements are created one after the other. So the fragrance actually carried from one place to other place to the via medium of the earth. Same example we'll take. One basmati rice grain also has some fragrance. When you sow that basmati rice grain into the earth produces a basmati plant which had hundreds of grains and they have more fragrance. So it is the earth acts as the via medium for the fragrance to go from one place to other place and become bigger in size. Same way, one flower plant produces so many flowers and every flower has wonderful fragrance, and you can also extract the essence of the fragrance which we use as the scent. So like that, the earth is the via medium which transport the fragrance from one place to other place in multiple quantity, like that. Now finally it says that though from ahankara in the mode of ignorance first appeared sound, from which ether appeared. The ether had the quality of sound, and then from ether there appear touch. From touch there appear air. Air will have two qualities: the touch as well as the sound. The previous quality also there in the next element. Then from air there comes form. From form, the via medium fire comes. The fire will have three qualities: form, its own quality, and the previous two qualities: touch and sound. This you can experience when you come near to the fire, especially in our kitchen when there is stove. When the stove started, the fire produces some sound. Sound is there. And if you keep your palm nearby the stove, you experience the warmth. And there is also some light. In that light, you can see the farms around, like that. And then from fire, there comes the taste. For the taste to go from one place to other place, there comes water. And water will have all these four properties. Of course, water will have taste, and water will also will have form, and water also has some sound, and water also has some touch. Especially in a dam, when the water is falling from the top of the dam to the bottom, you hear some sound, and the water droplet, the moisture will go everywhere. You experience the moisture content, and also there is form to the water, and then there is a taste to the water. And finally, there is from water there comes fragrance. From fragrance there comes earth. The earth will have all these five properties. Earth will have some fragrance. The earth element, everything that we eat is a manifestation of earth only. That will have taste, and earth will also have a form. But earth means every object manifest from earth as a form, and then there is some touch. Any object manifested from earth, there is some sensation. The touch, there is some touch experience. It is smooth, or it is hot, it is warmth or cold. Every object has some kind of touch experience, and also there is some sound. When you drop an object, when it touches the ground, it produces sound, something like that. Sound energy is good in that. So in that way, all the five properties are there in the last element. Like that, the successive elements also possess the previous properties that is mentioned in this verse. Bhutanam nabadinam
भूतानां नवादीनां
yadyad yadyad bhavyavaravaram
यद्यद्भव्यावरावरम्
tesham paranusamsargad
तेषां परानुसंसर्गात्
yata sankyam gunan viduhu.
यथा सांख्यं गुणं विदु. Translation: O gentle one, of all the physical elements beginning from the sky down to the earth, all the inferior and superior qualities are due to only to the final touch of the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
So Vidura, one should know that the qualities of each element, starting with ether, increase successively as they progress toward the inferior, combining with the qualities of the superior elements. The tanmatras are the causes of the effects. The tanmatras are the causes, and the effects are the elements such as ether. The tanmatra acts as the cause, the grass elements acts as the effect. Among the respectively lower elements, starting with ether and then air, the effects from successive combination with the superior causes. One should know the qualities are repeatedly found. So basically, the next element will have its own quality and the quality of the previous element, which is its source, like that. So who is this? Kindly mute. Now, all of you are able to hear. Haripriya Mataji, you are able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Hari bol.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Very good.
You are able to see my slides? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
You can see.
Yeah, here it is said that ether is the cause of air. It has two qualities, sound and touch. So, the sound from sound comes ether. Ether has one quality, and ether is the cause of air, and air has two qualities, sound and touch, being endowed with the previous cause, ether. Light has two causes, ether and air. Ether and air combinedly produces light, and the light has three properties, three qualities. Light has its own quality form, and light also has the qualities of the previous two causes. Air's quality is touch, and ether's quality is sound. Similarly, water has four qualities: taste, form, touch, and sound. And earth has five qualities: smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. So, like that, the subsequent elements also possess the previous qualities of the previous elements. So, like this, all the 24 elements are produced from Pradhana. So, last time I showed this slide, but still we'll see today with the complete information. First, when Karnadaksha Vishnu glances upon Pradhana, in which the modes are inactive, that glance carries Kala Karma Subhava. So, by the interaction of Kala Karma Subhava with three modes, first mode of goodness becomes activated as a result of that Mahatattva produced. Then mode of passion becomes activated as a result of the Sutta is produced. Then mode of ignorance will be activated as a result of the Ahankara is produced. Now, three modes are activated. Then the Ahankara further divided into three divisions, Jnana Shakti, consisting of Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shakti. That Ahankara consisting of Jnana Shakti is called a Sattvic Ahankara, which produces the mind and the 10 sense devatas. The Ahankara which consists Kriya Shakti is called Rajasic Ahankara. It produces prana, intelligence, and 10 senses. And that Ahankara which consists of Dravya Shakti, it is called Tamasic Ahankara. It produces the five sense objects and their respective five gross elements. This is how all the elements are produced. Same thing is shown here with an example of a plant sowing a seed and becoming a big plant. So Karanaksha Vishnu, the first Purusha, he glances on his Maya Shakti, which is known as Pradhana Vatavya. So his glance consists of Kala Karma Subhava. So he glances upon Pradhana. By glancing upon Pradhana, he impregnates Pradhana with Shiva Shakti and Kala Shakti. As a result of that, first mode of goodness is activated, Mahatattva is produced along with its deity Brahma as a Gunavatara or Lord Vishnu, and then mode of passion is activated, by which Sudattva is produced along with its deity Mukhya Prana, Vayu, and then mode of ignorance is activated. As a result of that, there comes Ahankara along with its deity Rudra is produced. And now Ahankara is further divided into three divisions: Satvika Ahankara, Rajasika Ahankara, and Tamasika Ahankara, consisting of Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shakti. From Satvika Ahankara, there comes mind and its deity Soma, and also the 10 devatas, who are the controlling deities of the Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. From Rajasika Ahankara, there comes intelligence and its deity Brahma, the Jiva Tattva, and the 10 pranas, and also the 10 senses, 5 Jnanendriyas and 5 Karmendriyas. They are all produced. And from Tamasika Ahankara, there comes first sound, and sound's pathway ether, then touch, touch's pathway air, then form, form's pathway fire, from then taste, taste pathway water, then smell, smell's pathway earth. While all this thing is happening, Lord is continue to glance upon Prakriti. So then afterwards also, Lord continues to glance. This is all happening creation. After creation, the maintenance also continues to activate by the glance of the Lord only. That's why in Bhagavad Gita we see that Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyatesa Characharam. It is under Lord's supervision. That means under Lord's glance only. The Prakriti creates and maintains and also annihilates unlimited number of universes with unlimited number of living entities living in unlimited planetary systems. So like that. So Mahavishnu glancing upon Pradhana. So Pradhana is the seed. So Mahavishnu glancing upon Pradhana is like sowing the seed. You sow the seed into the field. Then eventually in 1-2 days, the seed gives a small sprout. That sprout is called Mahatattva. That sprout eventually becomes the root of the entire tree. This is the entire root, which is the support of the entire tree. And that root, that sapling, in 1 or 2 days, sorry, that sprout comes above the surface of the ground in the form of sapling. That sapling is Sutra Tattva. And eventually, in a couple of days, this sapling transforms itself into the trunk of the tree. The trunk is Ahankara. And from the trunk of the tree, in due course of time, there comes different branches. But here we have 3 branches, 1, 2, 3. There are the 3 branches. So from this branch, there comes so many twigs, leaves, flowers, and fruits. They are like the mind. The mind is Devata. The Devatas are the senses. And from the other branch, the twigs, leaves, flowers, and fruits are the intelligence, and its deity, Brahma, and the pranas, and the 5 jnanindriyas and 5 karmendriyas. And from the third branch, from this branch, there comes the twigs, leaves, flowers, and fruits. They are like sound, from sound ether, from ether touch, from touch air, from air form fire, taste, water, smell, and ether. Like first, from the trunk comes twigs, from the twigs comes leaves, then from the leaves comes flower, from flowers comes the fruits. Like that, one after the other, they eventually manifest. All these things are happening by the glance of the Supreme Lord. That means by the process of nourishment. The glance is like the process of creation and nourishment. So it's like that. So this is how one after the other, all the elements are produced from Pradhana by the glance of the Lord, by the glance of Mahavishnu upon Pradhana. Yeah. Now is it clear?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Here you mentioned that this Ahankar, Ahankar transformed to 3 Ahankars. But
No, Baba. Ahankara is transforms into 3 Ahankara. That's like, see, forget about Athamasic Ahankara and all. Ahankara is like trunk. It is from the trunk only comes the branches or not?
okay. So my suggestion is that the Mahatattva and Sutra Tattva does not transform to 3, or they just remain as Mahatattva and Sutra Tattva.
See, here root is there now. Without root, can the tree grow?
No.
It is like that. Mahatattva is like that root which you can't see, which is inside the ground. So what you see, the trunk, that is Ahankara.
Oh, okay. And here it also mentioned that this mind and senses are transformation of Sattvic Ahankar, whereas intelligence is a transformation of Rajasic Ahankar.
See here, intelligence is here. The senses are also here. The mind and sense devatas are the transformation of Sattvic Ahankara, not the senses. That should be corrected. If the senses are there, that means correction should be there.
Yeah, but is it not the mind? Mind creates a lot of problem. Intelligence help in taking the right decision or gather knowledge.
Forget about it. See here, we are not talking about the decision and all. The creation of the mind as an element. What mind does, what are the different activities and functions of mind is a different thing. Here, these are all the elements. Here, the elements are manifesting. What elements would do, that is a different thing.
Okay.
How they came into existence is what we are discussing. What they do is a different thing. That will be a different activity. That will be later.
Okay, bro.
कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हाँ, yes,
अरे
Manoj.
प्रभु जी, ये सूत्र तत्व यानी क्या होता है?
हाँ, सूत्र तत्व मतलब मुख्य प्राण. It is equivalent to breathing. Mahatattva is equivalent to Chetana or Chitta. Within our personality, we have Chitta or Chetana. We always discuss the 4 subtle elements: Man, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chetana. So Man is mind, Buddhi is intelligence, Ahankara is ego, and Chetana is Mahatattva or Chitta.
ये सूत्र तत्व में ये सब आएगा, माइंड, इंटेलिजेंस. हाँ,
रुको ऐसा नहीं. These 4 are these 4. And Sutra Tattva means it represents Mukhya Prana. Sutra Tattva represents Mukhya Prana. It is nothing but the breathing activity. We do breathe.
Okay.
From when
Yeah,
we start breathing until when we breathe.
up to death.
But when we start,
जब भगवान जब
छोड़ दो,
जन्म
भगवान
लेते
नहीं.
हैं,
हाँ, जब
जन्म
जन्म
लेते
लेते.
हैं.
So for a tree, when do you understand the tree is born? When you see the sapling coming out. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. हाँ.
So since then, till the time the tree exists, the breathing continues on, goes on. So that is Sutta Tattva. It is not an element, but it is an integral part of the entire tree of existence.
Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
It is equal to breathing. The breathing activity happens from the beginning of our birth till the last time. Like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So Mahatma is equivalent to Chetana. Sutattva is equivalent to breathing. And Ahankara is equivalent to our identity. And mind is there, intelligence is there, pranas are there, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, and the grass elements and their properties, everything is there. We understand all this.
Okay. Thank you.
Other devotees have any questions? See, this topic is a little technical. Generally, we don't discuss. So since we are discussing here, try to understand, try to study also after the class. It is already discussed in second canto. We are discussing again now in third canto, so that we can have proper understanding of the same.
Prabhuji, can you please repeat Sutra Tattva again?
See, Sutta Tattva means Mukhya Prana. Mukhya Prana means the breathing. It is not one of the 24 elements, but it is very essential for our existence. It is the function of breathing. It is the representative of the function of breathing. Just like Mahatattva represents Chitta or Chetana within our personality, Hankara represents our identity, Sutattva represents our breathing function.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
In one sense, Mahatattva means Chitta or Chetana means consciousness. So here the deities are mentioned. So along with Mahatattva appears its deity, Brahma the Gunavatara. Along with Sutta appears its deity, Mukhya Prana or Vayu. Along with Ahankara appears its deity, Rudra or Shiva. Along with mind appears its deity, Soma. And along with intelligence appears its deity, Brahma. Brahma is the Jiva Tattva. Here also Brahma is there, here also Brahma is there. Actually, many times for Mahatattva, the deity is shown as Vishnu. But which Vishnu is clearly not mentioned. But sometimes it is also said that Mahatattva and intelligence are combined together and taken as one entity. So Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, many times the word Buddhi is used. Buddhi represents both combined activities of Mahatattva as Chitta as well as intelligence. So when we combine both, there will be one person acting as the deity for both. So Lord Brahma as Jiva Tattva acts as the deity for intelligence. Lord Brahma as Gunavatara, the representative of Lord Vishnu, acts as the deity for Chitta or Mahatattva. So like that. That's why I put it together, the same name. Here you see the interconnection of all the 24 elements. So we have 5 gross elements, and these 5 gross elements have 5 specific properties. Ether as sound, air as touch, fire as form, water as taste, earth as smell. And these 5 properties we experience, these 5 sense objects we experience through 5 jnanendriyas. Through our ears, we experience the sound. So what do you mean by experience sound? For example, I am here and all of you are there in Mumbai. When I speak, I am the cause of the sound, which is experienced by you through your ears. Okay? So the sound which I am producing is transmitted via ether and it reaches your ears and you experience the sound. And its entire activity is happening through the direction devatas. And with the help of our skin, we experience the touch sensation from the external world. Currently, the external world is very hot. So we experience the heat by our skin, and this is happening by under the supervision of Vayu through the via medium of air. And with our eyes, we experience the form of everyone. Currently, I'm here, you are there, but if we are all together in our base classroom number 7, we are able to see each other only in the presence of light, one of the light forms, whether it could be sunlight or moonlight or it could be electricity light, whatever. So it's like that. And we experience taste through our tongue under the supervision of Varuna. So the taste will transform from one place to other place through the water medium. And then through our nostrils, we experience the fragrance or smell, which is transmitted from earth under the supervision of Ashwini Kumaras. They are the 5 grass elements, they are the 5 tanmatras, they are the 5 jnanendriyas, they are the 5 devatas who are supervising the activities of these 5 jnanendriyas. And then we have 5 karmendriyas, voice, hands, legs, anus, and genitals. And we perform the respective activities under the supervision of these 5 devatas. Agni for voice, Indra for hands, Upendra for legs, Urtu and Mitra for anus, Prajapati Daksha for genital. And then we have 4 Antakaranas, 4 subtle elements, 4 internal senses. These 10 senses are called external senses, Bahya Karanas. Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas are called Bahya Karanas, and these 4 are called Antahakaranas. Mind, intelligence, false ego, and consciousness are Chetana. So the mind is performing various actions under supervision of Soma. Intelligence deity is Brahma. False ego's deity is Rudra. And consciousness or Chetana's deity is Vishnu or Brahma. Brahma as Gunavatara. So they are called Man, Buddhi, Ahankara, and Chitta. Chitta or Mahatattva. These are the 4 subtle elements. Like that, we have 24 elements in total. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, 20 plus 4, 24. So these are the 24 elements manifested or appeared from Pradhana or Dravya or Maya by the glance of Mahavishnu. So this is how all the 24 elements appeared from Pradhana. So along with them, we also saw that there is something called Sutra Tattva and something called Prana. They also appeared, but they are not counted among the elements. They are also there in addition to these elements. This is how one after the other, all these elements appeared, and they also have a strong interconnection among them. And
Prana is different than Vayu, like air, because functionality wise looks same only.
Yeah, looks same, but it is not same. For more details, you approach Ayurveda doctor. He will help you understand exactly what they are and how they are. I don't know much about their functions. I know something, but that I'll explain in the next chapter. When we come to the next chapter, we'll understand that. But for more details, you approach Ayurveda doctor. He will help you understand how they are different.
Okay.
In the next chapter, in one of the verses, the names of these 10 pranas are mentioned, and what are their functions are also mentioned. That time we'll try to discuss a little bit about them, what they are.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Yes, Prabhu.
प्रभु जी, ये सूत्र तत्व में क्या डिफरेंस का? व्हाट आर द मींस डिफरेंस फ्रॉम सूत्र तत्व एंड this तत्व?
And what?
Any difference?
Prabhuji, don't worry. Sutta Tattva means breathing. Is breathing is different from smelling or same?
You can say different.
Not we can say, you should say.
Say.
Oh, they are different. Smelling
Hare Krishna,
is
Prabhuji.
only. Wait, one second. Smelling is in relation to some particular odor or fragrance around us. That time only the smell sensation becomes activated. But breathing will go on eternally from the beginning to the end of our life. From the beginning of the creation to the end of the creation. That's why it is very important. So it is equated with the sapling. The manifestation of this entire universe is started with Suta Tattva. So it is like that. And it is endowed with Kriya Shakti. Suta Tattva means creation. So it is like that. So inside unseen by us is Mahatattva, and outside unseen by us is Suta Tattva. And what we see is all about his trunk only. Trunk and branches. That is identity. So it is like that. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, here there are 40 elements. in
Where
the
are
table.
40?
Yeah.
24 only.
There are sense devatas, no? But
Devatas
still,
are not elements. Devatas are not elements.
yeah, sorry.
5
But
plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 4. 24.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Any other devotee? So then, now, how many elements are created? 24. How many devatas are created? 14. 5 devatas here, 5 devatas here, and 4 devatas here. 5 plus 5, 10 plus 4, 14. So, these 14 devatas, who are representative of all these elements, they do not know what to do. So, in one sense, this one devata is representative of all these 3 elements. All these 3 elements function under the supervision of this devata. So, like that, we should take. So, the 24 elements have 14 devatas. And now the 14 devatas do not know what to do. So, all these devatas are going to offer prayers to Lord Vishnu, saying that, my dear Mahavishnu, you have created us. I think there must be some purpose. Please engage us in that particular service in order to fulfill your purpose. That is the intent of all these prayers. So starting from text number 39, all the prayers are mentioned. Ete deva kala Vishnu
Ete deva kala Vishnu
kala mayam shalingina
kala mayam salingina
nanatvat swakriyanisha
nanatvatsva kriyanisha
rochuhu pranjalayo vibhu.
rochuhu pranjalayo vibhum. Translation: the controlling deities of all the above mentioned physical elements are empowered expansions of Lord Vishnu. They are embodied by an eternal time under the external energy, and they are his parts and parcels. Because they were entrusted with different functions of universal duties and were unable to perform them, they offered fascinating prayers to the Lord as follows.
Yeah, the devatas of the various elements. Basically, the 14 devatas of the 24 elements, known as portions of Lord Vishnu. Vishnuho Kala. You remember what was mentioned in the first canto, third chapter? Ete Chamsha Kala Vishnu. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Ete Chamsha Kala Pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Rudayanti Yoge. All these avatars mentioned are either Kala or Amsha of the first Purusha, Mahavishnu. All the avatars that have been explained in that chapter are either direct expansions known as Amshas or the secondary or indirect expansions or empowered expansions which are known as Kala. So basically, Amsha means Swamsha, direct expansions of Vishnu Tattvas. Kala means Shakti Avesh Avataras. The Shakti Avesh Avataras or Vibhutis are generally called as Kala. So now, it is mentioned that all these Devatas, Ete Deva, all these 14 Devatas of 24 elements, they are known as Kala of Vishnu, the portions of Lord Vishnu. They are Kala expansions of Lord Vishnu. And possessing powers of transformation, the effect of Kala is the transformation, and emotional states, the effect of Maya, different desires. So the effect of Kala is transformation, transforming from one state to other state. Like for example, our human body goes through 6 changes. The 6 changes are the effect of Kala. And after giving up this human body, we get into another body. That is in order to fulfill different desires. That is an effect of Maya. So here Kala means transformation. Maya means the emotional states. Matlab, currently we are in the emotional state of being a human. Now I am a human being. I am a male. I am brahmachari. I am this and that. When we change this body, when we enter into a new body, that time we will be in a different emotional state. That time I see myself as a devata, so and so, this that. So that is the representative of Maya. And consciousness, Amshalingina. They are all possessing Kala, transformation, emotional states, and consciousness, who are unable to perform their respective functions in creating the universe. Swakriya Anisha. They are not the masters. They are not the independent masters to do some activity. They have been created and they are waiting for doing some activity. Mataji, kindly mute yourself. Rajeshwari Mataji. So it is like that. So they were unable to perform their respective actions for creating the universe. Rajeshwari Mataji, kindly mute. So because they were not related with each other, with folded hands, they began to praise the Lord. Prabhuji, I'm in the class. No, I'm not able to come because I have another class from 1 to 3. Anything? Priyanka is sitting in the computer. You can call him. Okay. So since they were not related to each other, they are not empowered by the Lord. They were not able to do any activity. So in order to get the empowerment of the Lord, proper instructions, what to do and how to do, now they are going to offer prayers unto Lord Vishnu. That is what is indicated. So now, as you see in the previous slide, our human body is made up of these 24 elements. It is with the help of these 24 elements only we perform activities, either good or bad. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there is one verse comes in 3rd chapter, I suppose. Prakrite kriyamanani punai karmani sarvasha. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti mannati. So whatever activity we do, all these activities are actually done by Prakriti. Prakriti means Prakriti which transformed itself into 24 elements. Since our human body is made up of these 24 elements, all activities that we do are actually performed by these 24 elements. For example, currently I am speaking. When I say I am speaking, actually I should not say that I am not speaking. My mouth is speaking. When I say I am operating the laptop, I cannot say that I am operating. I should say that my hands are operating the laptop. When I walk from place A to place B, I cannot say that I am walking. Instead, I should say that my legs are walking from place A to place B. All the activity that I perform, they are actually performed by these 24 elements. I say that I am breathing, but I am not breathing. Who is breathing? He is breathing. He is the one who is doing the breathing activity from the beginning of our birth till the last time of our birth, our life. He is doing the breathing activity. I am not doing. I, as Atma, am simply a witness. Only a ahankari, egoistic person will say that I am doing everything. But a person knowledge will say that it is the material nature in its expansions as the 24 elements and prana and as tattva performing all the activities. I am not the doer. That is the understanding of a knowledgeable person. Because prakriti kriyamanani kune karmani sarvasha. All the activities are performed under by prakriti only, not by us. So now, taking that understanding, here it is said that Mahatattva, Hankara and other elements bound by their qualities, throwing the jiva to swarga or hell and push them into repeated births. That means all these elements are performing good activities and bad activities. By doing good activities, they are sending the jiva to Swarga. By doing bad activities, they are sending the jiva to hell. And by doing the mixed activities, they are sending the jiva into repeated births, different forms. These causeless inflictors should be destroyed completely. These elements are doing all these bad things. They are binding us, they are sending us to different species. They should be destroyed completely so that I will not have any problems in this world. But one should not say so. Rather, the elements are the causeless assistants and should be worshipped. This is explained by this verse. The elements are only facilitating. They should not be punished for the results. Why? Jnana and Nishkama Karma, the practices for attaining Sahajya Mukti, cannot be accomplished without these elements. Without the assistance of these 24 elements, we can neither perform Nishkama Karma Yoga, nor Jnana Yoga, nor Ashtanga Yoga, by which we will attain Sahajya Mukti. Only with the help of these elements only we can perform Jnana Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga, and hence we will attain Sahajya Mukti. Similarly, the practices for prema, that means bhakti, such as hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, are also accomplished by the same 24 elements imbued with Lord's mercy. So without the help of these elements, we can neither practice bhakti nor practice Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and attain and come back to Godhead. But actions which lead to hell, such as stealing another's wife or another's property, or violence to cows and to the Brahmanas, are also accomplished by the same elements. Even the sinful activities are sadhana are practiced by the same elements. Sinful activities are also performed by the same elements, but they should not be condemned. The elements should not be condemned. At one place, you are praising the elements because they are performing bhakti and taking me to spiritual world. At other place, the elements are performing sinful activities and taking me to hell, and you should not condemn them. The reason is explained here with one example. Ganga water is sweet and purifying for saintly people. Entering into grass, for saintly people, Ganga water is purifying. The same Ganga water entering into grass and shrubs on its banks, into grains and wheat, into jackfruit, mangoes, grapes, and sugarcane, it is most nourishing and pleasurable for all men and all other living entities. The same Ganga water will nourish the grasses, fruits, plants, and flower plants, and produce vegetables and fruits and flowers and nourish all of us. But when the Ganga water enters a poisonous tree, it can directly kill humans. This is not the fault of Ganga water, but depends on the bad quality of the receiver. It is the same Ganga water purifying the way saintly people, the same Ganga water nourishing the green grasses and fruit and flower plants and nourishing all of us. The same Ganga water is also nourishing a poisonous tree, eating whose fruits a person may die. But it is not the fault of Ganga. It is the fault of the receiver. It is not because of the Ganga. It is the fault of the receiver. The poisonous tree receiving Ganga water and creating poisonous fruits. The good mango tree receiving Ganga water and creating good juicy mango fruits. Ganga is not at fault. It's like that. Tanaham dushata kruran samsareshu naradaman shipami ajastra mashuban asuriva eva yonishu. I cast those hateful, cruel, and lowest humans, constantly doing evil into repeated birth and death in the wombs of the demons. So Asuri Sampatti Vibhaga Yoga is there. Lord Krishna says that. So in the atheistic people, Asuric people will continue to perform Asuric activities, and they will take birth in Asuric families only again and again. So in that way, according to the Gita statement, what is the fault of the devotees appointed by the Lord as devatas of the elements who are situated in these evil persons? It the same 24 elements are there in the saintly people's body, in the normal living entity's body, in the sinful living entity's body, either it is poisonous tree or the sinful human beings or asuras. They also have the same 24 elements only. Their bodies are also created by the same 24 elements only. It is not the fault of the elements. They are actually advanced Vaishnavas. These 24 elements, along with their 14 devatas, are actually advanced Vaishnavas. This becomes evident in their prayers which follow. The next sequence of verses will indicate that what kind of devotees are these? These 24 elements and the 14 devatas. They are highly advanced devotees. In one sense, actually, they are actually Vishnu's kala, Vishnu's secondary expansions, empowered expansions. They are actually Vaikuntha Vasis. In order to assist the Lord, they comes into material world in order to facilitate our activities. It is we use them in a wrong way. They have come here to assist us so that we can go back home back to Godhead. But unfortunately, we are using them to perform sinful activities and we are binding ourselves in this material world. These precedent deities of the elements such as Mahatattva are called portions of Lord Vishnu since they function for Maya Shakti. Because they are functioning for Maya Shakti, they are called empowered expansion. They are portions of Mahavishnu. They are not direct expansion. Because direct expansion does not function for Maya. That is understanding. They are the forms of time or transformation. And they are the forms of Maya or emotions such as deliberation, joy, or sorrow, and the form of consciousness. So these elements, they go through transformations, they go through different emotions such as deliberation, joy, and sorrow, and they go through different states of consciousness. That means they assume different species forms, sometimes as human beings, sometimes as animals, sometimes as devatas, sometimes as this, that, etc. Because of not having relationship with each other, after the creation of the 24 elements, they are independently existing. They don't have any mutual relationship. As a result of that, the elements are unable to create the universe. Then they began to praise the Supreme Lord so that they can be empowered and they can be engaged in proper service of the Supreme Lord. By the inconceivable will of the Lord, they suddenly possessed all the senses and bodies to do this. This shows that they are completely dependent on the Lord's will. So actually when we said that, so when these elements are created, along with that the devatas are produced. The devatas are actually produced only in the form of Atma. They did not have any body. They did not have any gross body, subtle body. But now, by the will of the Lord, for some time, the Lord manifested their gross body and subtle body, with which they offered praise to Supreme Lord and they requested Lord's empowerment. Then the forms disappeared. Then actually Brahma appears. Then Brahma enables them to possess their respective forms and they actually execute their respective activities. For now, temporarily for some time, Lord himself manifests their physical forms so that they will be able to offer prayers. After offering those prayers, their physical forms will disappear. And then Lord combines those 24 elements and creates unlimited universes, then enters into each and every universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel comes a lotus flower. Then Lord expands Akshiraksha Vishnu enters into that lotus flower. On top of that lotus flower, there appears Brahmaji. And then Brahmaji manifests the physical forms for all these devatas and all other living entities. So that time they actually get their physical forms. So currently, temporarily, they got the physical forms with the help of which they could offer prayers to Mahavishnu so that they can be empowered to do the Lord's seva, so that Lord's purpose can be fulfilled. So all these devatas who manifested at the beginning of the creation are Vaishnavas, the Vaikuntha Vasis. They actually came from Vaikuntha in order to assist the Supreme Lord. It is also said that for the first time they come and they set up the universe, then they train the local jivas, then they give that service to the local jivas, then they will go back to Vaikuntha. Either it may happen immediately or it can happen in the next manvantara. So that is how it happens. So what we are discussing is happening all 50 years back before the birth of Brahma. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, in this sloka, there I have two questions. One thing is the demig, this all the deities are demigods. they are praying ki I have not got any service, but they have allotted this sevas, and how they are saying ki I am not getting any service, so they are praying.
No. Wait. As of now, nothing has been allotted. We know because we are studying now. But at the time of creation, they only manifest. They don't know what to do, and they also don't know how to do.
Okay. And for the next
that we'll
question.
understand by their prayer.
And the next question where is saying ki the Ganga water depends on the bad quality of the receiver. But here you can see the probably receiver there are, if you grossly thinking, there are 24 element and the soul. Soul is always pure. And this 24 element also saying it is pure. Then how this bad quality, this is Swabhava or karma? This karma or Swabhava, this bad quality is coming?
Yes. By our acquisition, they all manifest.
Okay, so these are not because this is also saying it is lot glances with the karma and swabhava, and then it is everything is done. So that means kal is a pure, but karma and swabhava is the quality of that jiva. That is the bad quality.
Yes, that is true. Yes, and they are also acquired over a period of time. It's not that they are coming from spiritual world. That karma and swabhava are from the previous creation. At the time of previous annihilation, all the jivas along with their karmas and swabhava, they enter into the body of Mahavishnu. In the new creation, the jivas will enter into a new universe with their previous karmas and swabhavas. So,
when the Lord Mahavishnu glances, that time this the jiva, karma and swabhava along with the soul, they are become activated.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Now the prayers will begin. Yes, Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Yes, Mataji.
प्रभु जी ये 24 एलिमेंट जो है एक से हमारा बॉडी बनता है, वो जो उससे जो भी हम कार्य करते हैं इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ दिस 24 एलिमेंट्स, बराबर है. और आत्मा है वो प्योर है, महतत्व. तो ये सूत्र तत्व, तो ये सब जो हमारे जैसे बैड वाटर, तो वो संगति से आता है, राइट? जैसे आपने कहा भी संगति से आ रहा है. तो हम इसको कैसे समझेंगे? बिकॉज आई एम लिटिल बिट कंफ्यूज कि जब सब सही है, हमारा स्वभाव कर्म, हम मींस जब दूसरे पहले के कर्म हमारे खराब है, तो हम जब जन्म लेंगे तब असुरी वृत्ति से जन्म लेंगे. ऐसे ये समझना चाहिए हमें.
Not like that. First tell me, when jiva comes to this material world, the jiva is pure or contaminated?
Contaminated.
No, he is not contaminated that time. Jiva comes to this material world in a pure state only, with a small desire to exercise. There are two options. That desire can be exercised in a dharmic way or in an adharmic way. But what choice one takes, it depends on one's circumstances in which one is there. Based on one's choices, one accumulates a new swabhava with contamination. As a result of that, one continues to perform such kind of activities, which develops one's karma and swabhava. For the first time when jiva comes here, jiva is pure only. He has a desire, he wants to exercise that desire. But while exercising the desire, one accumulates contamination. One acquires contamination.
So desire में contamination आ जाती है. Very difficult.
In one's chetana, there will be contamination eventually while doing all those activities. See, you say, na, this is, I'm not, this is a simple example to understand. When small kids are there, they are very innocent. We say that the small kids are very innocent, they are very pure, they are very simple, they are very obedient. But as they grow, they manifest some bad qualities. So where from these bad qualities are coming? Don't go into karma and all, from just immediate understanding. The bad qualities will come based on their friendship. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Friendship means their association, their surroundings. So like that.
Thank you.
Yes, Jayavaram Prabhu, you have something to say?
Yes, Prabhuji, like previously where you mentioned that the 14 devatas, Lord Vishnu was one of them, 14 devatas within that, right?
That's why I said, na, which Lord Vishnu is not clear. That's why I use Brahma as Gunavatara as the Devata for consciousness, Brahma as Jiva Tattva as the Devata for Buddhi. Okay? And in the next chapter, you see that the intelligence and consciousness are combined together and they are treated as one element. They are not taken as two elements, separate elements.
Okay, but there are only three Vishnus, no? Like Karnadaksha Vishnu and Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Sirudaksha Vishnu.
But none of those three are the in charges for consciousness.
They are Bhagwan, like they are in Bhagwan category, not in Devata categories.
So it is like that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start the prayers. Deva Uchu. Kindly repeat, someone. Deva Uchuhu.
Deva Uchu.
Namate Deva Padaravindam.
Namamate Deva Padaravindam.
Prapannatapopashamatapatram.
Prapannatapopashamatapatram.
Yanmulaketa Yatayonjasoru.
Yanmulaketa Yatavyon Soru.
Samsara Dukkam Vairutkshipanti.
Samsara Dukkam Bahiru Utshipanti. Translation. The demigod said, O Lord, your lotus feet are like an umbrella for the surrendered souls, protecting them from all the miseries of material existence. All the sages under that shelter throw off all material miseries. We therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet.
So, from here, the prayers are offered, and these prayers are very wonderful. They are very important. And kindly memorize this prayer. This is a very important prayer. And one more prayer comes in the next, maybe that also very good. O Supreme Lord, we ask for respects to your lotus feet, which are the umbrella, Ahatapatram. Namamate Deva Padaravindam. Your lotus feet are Prapanna Tapa Upashama Atapatram. They are actually an umbrella which give us Upashama from Tapa. For whom? For Prapanna, for the surrendered souls. Currently, we can relate to it. Currently, summer is going on. In the hot summer, if you are walking outside, if you walk normally, you see your experience. If you have an umbrella and see your experience. So, Lord's lotus feet are compared to the umbrella while we are walking in the forest fire of the material existence. Something like that. We offer respects to your lotus feet, which are the umbrella which relieve the suffering of the surrendered soul. The devotees who take shelter of the soles of your feet quickly uproot the suffering of material life. Yanmulaketa yatayonjasoru. Anjasa means very easily. Samsara dukkam bhairitshipanti. They can uproot the samsara dukkha and throw it at a far distance. Utshipanti. Kshipanti means kshipani. Kshipani, you remember na? In the warfare, in the army, we have this kshipani, which is basically a vehicle which throws the weapon at a far distance. The rocket, something like that. Those who take shelter of the soles of your lotus feet, the devotees, and not others. Only devotees take shelter of lotus feet, not others. Only the devotees quickly throw far away at the root the suffering of material life. They uproot the suffering of material life and throw it at a far distance from the very root. That is understanding of the devotee taking shelter of Lord's lotus feet. When one casts off to a great distance, a leech attached to one's body with force, it does not come back. Just like a leech is there in our body, take it and throw it far distant. The leech again does not come back to us because leech walks very slowly. For it to come to us, it will take a lot of time. Something like that. Those who do not take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet throw off material life with delay and not at the root, and again get attacked by the material life. But others, they may also throw away the material life, but not immediately, but not to a far distant, but not from the very root. Maybe superficially ऊपर निकल के छोड़ेंगे, but root is still there. The root again sprouts and becomes another tree. So like that. It should be understood that even if there were no devotees present at that at the beginning of creation, by knowledge of the conclusion of all scriptures, these knowers of truth, knowers of past, present, and future, proclaimed this. Here, as of now, Mahavishnu just created the 24 elements along with their deities, the 14 deities. Okay. At this point of time, there are no Vedas, there are no conclusive truths of the Vedas, but by the empowerment of the Lord, these 14 devatas, they they know the essence of all the Vedas, the conclusive truth of all the Vedas, the truth of past, present, and future. By their words, we can understand that they all know because they are specifically empowered by the Lord. They all know all these truths, and more than that, as we discussed, these 14 devatas are actually coming from the spiritual world. They are not the conditioned souls. They are all Vishnu Kala, Lord's empowered expansions, Lord Shakti Avatara. So they are no conditioned souls. So they are endowed with the truths of all the Vedic conclusions. That Vedic conclusion they are presenting here in all these verses. Which ordinary person can talk like this? Only these people who are empowered expansions of Lord Vishnu only, that's why they are able to speak like this. The Lord's lotus feet are like the umbrella which can deliver us from the heat of the material existence. And those who take shelter of Lord's lotus feet, they can uproot samsara dukkha from the very root and throw it at a far distant so that it will not come back again. They can get one, they can do one more. Like that. Same thing you remember if you remember 15th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 3rd verse. नारूपमस्तेह ततोपलभ्यते नामतो न चादे न सकं प्रतिष्ठाश्वत्रमेनं सुविरूढमूढम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा सा परं तत् परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूय तमेव चाद्यं प्रस्तापुराणे. What is the next line? तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये. Then प्रस्तापुराणे. So everything manifests. Yata pravrittir prastha. Here it talks about Mahavishnu. The Mahavishnu is situated below the root of this tree. The root of the tree is Mahatattva. And below Mahatattva is Pradhana. And below Pradhana is Mahavishnu. So, we are currently in the tree of material existence. We have to uproot the tree from the very root and go below the root and search for the source of the root. Who is the source of the root? Who is the source of the root? Who is the source of Mahatattva? Mahavishnu. Yeah.
Krishna.
We have to search for Mahavishnu. After getting Mahavishnu, we will not take birth again in this material world. Yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya. Having attained Mahavishnu, one will not take birth again in this material world. Who is Mahavishnu? Tameva cha adhyam. He is the Adi Purusha. Yata pravruti prasuta purani. It is from him everything that we see here as manifested. Yes or no? So we need to take shelter of that original Lord, who is the source of everything that is around us. It is like that. Next, the next two prayers also very important, like that only. धातुर्यदस्मिन् भव ईश जीवाः
यदस्मिन् भव ईश जीवास्
तापत्रयेनाभिहता न शर्मा
तापत्रयेन भिहिता नाश तापत्रयेन विहता न शर्मा
आत्मन् लभन्ते भगवांस्तवाङ्घ्रि
आत्मन् लभन्ते भगवांस्तवाङ्घ्रि
चायं सविद्याम् अत आश्रयेम
छायं सविद्याम् अत आश्रयेम. Translation: O Father, O Lord, O Personality of Godhead, the living entities in the material world can never have any happiness because they are overwhelmed by the three kinds of miseries. Therefore, they take shelter of the shade of your lotus feet, which are full of knowledge, and we also thus take shelter of them.
So they are saying that, O maintainer, O Lord, O Bhagavan, since the jivas afflicted by the three miseries, tapatrayena abhihata, the jivas who are afflicted by the three kinds of miseries, adhyatmika klesha, adibhautika klesha, and adidaiva klesha, do not attain peace within themselves in the material world. Even with knowledge, even with self-gained knowledge, they will never ever attain freedom from the threefold miseries. Therefore, we take shelter of the shade of your lotus feet. Only those who take shelter of the lotus shade of your lotus feet can be freed from tapatraya. Others, by their own endeavor, can never ever get freedom from the miseries caused by tapatraya. So, like that. In the previous verse, it talked about the devotees. The devotees take shelter of your lotus feet, therefore, we take shelter of your lotus feet. In this verse, the non-devotees do not take shelter of your lotus feet, and hence they are not freed from the miseries of the threefold miseries of this material world. But we take shelter of your lotus feet. The suffering of material life is rooted in ignorance, and by knowledge it is alleviated. Can those who possess knowledge get freedom from suffering? Somebody may say that suffering is due to ignorance and freedom is due to knowledge. By having knowledge, can one become free from suffering? This verse explains that bhakti alone is the process, not knowledge. By gaining so-called knowledge, one cannot become freed from tapatraya. But only by bhakti, by taking shelter of Lord's lotus feet, one can become free from tapatraya. Without worshipping your lotus feet, the jivas do not get peace in this material world. Within the self, even if they have knowledge, even if they have vidya, the so-called material knowledge, but they cannot be freed from tapatraya. This is what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. When one will get peace, chapter 5, last verse, 526. Bhoktaram Ajnataptam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Gurudam Sarvabhutanam Nyatvam Shantim Ruchati. Not by having the knowledge of this world, but by having the knowledge and realization of the Supreme Lord, which comes by taking shelter of his lotus feet. Taking shelter of lotus feet means taking shelter of Guru. One will understand about the Lord, then one will go back home back to Godhead, and one will not be freed from this. One will not be bound by this material world. Daiviyesha gunamayi mamamaya durateya mamyeva prapadyante mayamyetam tarantite. Janma karma cha me divyam yevam yota tatra takva deha puranjanma naiti mameti sorjana. It's like that. All these things are interrelated. Only devotees who take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can be freed from the influence of the Tapatraya. Knowledge only exists in the shade of your lotus feet and nowhere else. The real knowledge exists only at the shade of your lotus feet. Later on, we see that the shade of Lord's lotus feet means the devotees who are completely surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Taking shelter of Lord's lotus feet means taking shelter of Lord's devotees. That is understanding. Without bhakti, jnana cannot reach its goal. Such persons are false jnana. In the second canto, 4th chapter, where Sri Sukadeva Goswami is offering prayer, he says that Tapasvino Danapara Yashasvino Manasvino Mantravida Sumangala Kshemam na Vindanti Vinaya Darpanam Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Even the Tapasvis, the Jnanis, Karma Yogis, Ashtanga Yogis, and all welfare workers, they only attain perfection when they offer all their activities unto Supreme Lord. Kshemam na Vindanti Vina Kedarpanam. Without offering all one's activities unto you, one cannot attain auspiciousness in one's life. That's why Lord Krishna further says in the Bhagavad Gita later on, Yat karoshi adashnashi ajju shivashet tapashati konteya tat kurushva adarpanam. So whatever we do, even starting with drinking water and eating food, everything should be done as an offering to Supreme Lord. That activity will deliver us from all good and bad effects. Shubha Shubha Phalerevam Mokshanse Karma Bandhanat. We will be freed from Shubha Phal and Ashubha Phal by doing such kind of bhakti. So that is what is indicated in the past two verses. And now the next verse says that, of course, we understand that we need to take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. That is the only solution. Otherwise, we are bound in this material and will be suffered by the three modes of material nature. Now, how we shall take shelter of Lord's lotus feet? What is the way? What is the means of taking shelter of Lord's lotus feet? There are two ways to take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. The two ways are mentioned in this verse. Margantiyate Mukapadma Nidai Chanda Suparne Rishayo Vivikte
Chanda Suparne Rishayo Vivikte
Yasyagamarshod Karidvaraya
Yasyagamarso Dasaridvaraya
Padam Padam Tirtha Pada Prapanna.
Padam Padam Tirtha Pada Prapanna. Translation. The lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to your lotus feet at every step by taking shelter of the best of rivers, the Ganges, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions.
So this verse talks about the two ways to take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. This is also another important verse. I request all of you to memorize the first verse and this verse. There is a question, essay question for these prayers. You can write these two verses for all the prayers. We have taken shelter of your lotus feet, a place of pilgrimage. Lord's lotus feet are Tirtha Pada, place of pilgrimage, which gives rise to Ganga, the best of the rivers. Yes, from the Lord's lotus feet comes Ganga. And Ganga is the destroyer of sin, and which sages seek in their minds by the following the bird of the Vedas, situated in the nest of your lotus mouth. The first two lines talks about one way to take shelter of Lord's lotus feet, directly taking shelter of Lord's lotus feet by taking shelter of Ganga, which appears from Lord's lotus feet. The second is the lotus feet belongs to Lord. The same Lord also has a mouth. The mouth is compared to the nest where the birds stay. And from the mouth only issued the Vedas. Just like the birds take the shelter of the nest which is there on the top of the tree, similarly some other sages take shelter of the Vedas, which bring one to the mouth of the Lord. Having come to the mouth of the Lord, they will take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Something like that. There are two ways. We will understand from the notes. Those who desire to see your lotus feet by taking shelter of the two ladders of happiness constructed by your mercy to attain direct vision of your lotus feet are intelligent. These two people who come to your lotus feet by the two ways are actually intelligent. They are the real jnanis. The previous verse talks about the so-called jnanis. Since they do not surrender to your lotus feet, they will never attain perfection. Instead they will be troubled by their material existence. But the real jnanis, by taking shelter only come forth from your lotus feet as well as from your lotus mouth, they take shelter of your lotus feet. They are the real jnanis. So we have surrendered to your lotus feet, a place of pilgrimage, which the sages seek. By what means do the sages search? Do the sages approach your lotus feet? The devotees by default take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. But the great sages take shelter of Lord's lotus feet in two ways. One is by taking shelter of Ganga, other one is by taking shelter of Vedas. They search by the birds of the Vedas, which are sitting in the nest of your lotus mouth. The understanding is the homeless people. This is an example. The homeless people who are walking on the forest path, when it becomes night, they want to take shelter somewhere. So the homeless people looking for shelter at the base of some tree, wandering here and there, follow the flight of birds which enter their nest at night. So in the evening time, when the forest dwellers, the forest path travelers, at least in the past, it is like that, they want to take some rest. So how do they take rest? They see into the sky. They see the birds going back to their nest. Because wherever the birds take rest, that place is freed from the influence of snakes and tigers and other wild animals. Birds only make their nest in a place which is comfortable for their children. They don't make nest here and there. They see that this place is not invested with other ferocious birds or ferocious animals or snakes, etc. So that they are sure about the eggs they lay down, the small kids they have, they can live peacefully. So in order to have a safe place to rest in the night time, the people, the path traveler, they see into the sky, the birds will be going back to their nest. So following the path of Ganga or following the path of the birds, they approach the tree. Thus, they attain the base of the tree, which is the home for the birds. So the birds take rest on the top of the tree where the nest is there, and these travelers who follow the flight of the birds, they come to the tree and they peacefully take rest at the base of the tree. They understand that the nest is there, matlab here there are no snakes, there are no wild animals, so that they can have proper sleep in the night time. This is one way. Similarly, the sages who are compared to the homeless people worship you, they worship the tree and attain you, the root of the tree, that means the base of the tree, after understanding the conclusion of the Vedas, which are the birds, which are compared to the birds, which spring from your mouth and which are confirmed by you. This is one ladder. So every day morning, the birds come out of their nest from the top of the tree and travel here and there. And while coming back, they bring the homeless travelers. Similarly, the Vedas which were issued from the mouth of the Lord, they travel here and there. They attract the people and they bring the people to the personality of Godhead. And hence, and eventually they will take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. So this is the understanding. This is the first ladder of happiness. The second ladder of happiness is we surrender to your feet, which are the place of emanation of the best of the rivers, the Ganga, whose water destroys all sins. This means that by worshipping the Ganga, they attain your feet from which Ganga emanates. By regularly worshipping Ganga, by taking shelter of Ganga, by serving all the devotees who take shelter of Ganga, one comes to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. This is another way the great sages come to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord by taking shelter of Ganga, by making the residence in the bank of Ganga, by associating with all other sages who also make their residence in the path of Ganga, on the bank of Ganga. These are the two paths of perfection by which one eventually comes to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. This is for the great sages. Then what about for the devotees? The devotees directly take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. So I'm sorry, just saw the time. It is already 7 and 12:45. I'll just read this verse and we'll stop this So this verse, in the previous two verses, they said that the sages, we have taken shelter of your lotus feet, and your devotees are freed from the tapatraya in this material world by taking shelter of your lotus feet, because your lotus feet are like the umbrella, atapatra, and non-devotees do not, the so-called jnanis do not take shelter of your lotus feet, but the devotee jnanis, they take shelter of your lotus feet. How? Either by taking shelter of Ganga or by taking shelter of Vedas. But on the other hand, the great devotees in this world, they directly take shelter of your lotus feet. They don't go here and there to taking shelter of the Vedas or taking shelter of Ganga. That is mentioned in the 42nd verse. I will only read. Yashraddhaya Shrutavatya cha Bhaktya Samrujyamane Hrudaye Vadhaya Jnanena Vairagya Balena Dhira Praje Matattengri Saroja Pitam. We should take shelter of your lotus feet. Therefore, we should take shelter of your lotus feet. Realizing those feet in a pure heart by the process of bhakti, heard with faith through the mouth of Guru, Shraddhaya Shrutavatya. How we should take shelter of Lord's lotus feet? By practicing bhakti. How we understand and practice bhakti? By hearing from Guru. How? By faith. Shraddhaya Shrutavatya. By attaining realizations of the sweetness of the lotus feet, which gives strong disgust with the material world. People become wise. When we take shelter of Guru, we hear about the Supreme Lord with faith. That faith will give us the sweetness of realization of Lord's lotus feet, by which we develop distaste from the material existence. And hence, we become wise, we become pure, we become happy. Among all these people, those who take shelter of the Lord with pure bhakti are the best. Realizing those feet in one's heart, purified by bhakti, the heart which is purified by execution of bhakti, which contains the path taught from the mouth of Guru, people become wise by that realization of sweet taste, which gives distaste for all else. It's a systematic process. First of all, we need to have faith in bhakti. Then we take shelter of Guru. By taking shelter of Guru, we engage in bhakti, and our faith becomes steady, and our heart becomes pure, and then we experience the sweetness of Lord's lotus feet, and hence we experience the distaste from everything else in this material world. Like that. Satya para isha anubhava virakti. By executing bhakti, we experience para isha anubhava, and we also manifest virakti from this material existence. If there is honey in the arka tree, why go to the mountain? When a person experiences the sweetness of Lord's lotus feet, what is the need to go to Ganga, or what is the need to go to Vedas, or what is the need to go to Himalayas? Thus, there is no necessity of labor in searching out the Vedas, as was mentioned in the previous verse. So it is like that. When a devotee, having taken shelter of Guru with faith, having understood the sweetness of, having realized the sweetness of Lord's lotus feet, does not go here and there. He is already experiencing the highest sweetness. So this is how the superior nature of bhakti has been indicated by the 14 devatas of the 24 elements. Hare Krishna. So we will stop here and we will continue from the next prayer in the next class.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes,
Ram
please.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we are in a temple. Gauri Pavsa Mataji also there. So she was telling कि मेरा attendance आज कर हो जाएगा.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Oh.
I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. I'll do it. Please go quickly and take prasadam. Prasadam will close by 1 o'clock. I was supposed to end by 12:30 only. I'm sorry for the delay. Please go quickly.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
It's Hare Krishna.